And ABC's political director Rick Klein joins me live now, along with ABC's Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill for more. Rick, what do you make of the timing of this announcement by Trump? Why do this now?
I don't know anyone who is thinking around politics who thinks it's a good idea on the timing. I think the best argument you can make is it gets ahead of the rest of the field. I also think, frankly, that he boxed himself in by teasing this announcement when he thought that the Republicans were going to have a good midterm night. He thought he'd be taking a victory lap when it turned out to be the opposite. And now pending the Georgia runoff, this could easily backfire. And you're seeing many Republicans, including many people that were very loyal and worked for him for a long time, saying this is ill-advised, this is ill-timed, and they are not being shy in publicizing their breaks with the former president, even though he has valued loyalty above all.
Now, Rick, ABC's 538 analysis shows Trump is already favored to win the 2024 Republican presidential primary. And they say the polls and history are on his side. How do you see this playing out?
Well, I don't think that there's any real analog in history for what we're seeing, certainly not in modern times, of a former president trying to come back and get his job back. The most recent famous example on this would be Teddy Roosevelt, who had to start his own party 100 years ago. That predates modern polling. So I'm not sold on him as the prohibitive frontrunner. Clearly, there are others in the race or potentially in the race who will be looking to that. We've seen many conservative groups come out just in the last couple of days and say that Governor DeSantis is the front runner. They're putting out private polling to suggest that, trying to urge Trump away from it. So he'll be a formidable candidate, but he's not going to be the only one. And it's very hard to run this wire to wire, particularly given the baggage around legal investigations and the memories of last January 6th that Trump carries with him.
Now, Jay, House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy, while all this is going on, he's facing his own battle in his bid for the speakership. What's the latest there?
Yeah, well, McCarthy won the GOP nomination for Speaker last night, but there were 31 of his colleagues, his House Republican colleagues, who voted against him. That was his first hurdle. He's got to win the vote in January when the new Congress gavels into session. That's got to be 2018 votes that he's got to get, or excuse me, 218 votes that he's got to get. That 218, the slimmer the GOP majority is, the harder it might be for McCarthy to reach that threshold, because he's got to wrangle the far-right members of his conference. And there are some in that conference, Representative Matt Gaetz, for example, who have said they will not vote for McCarthy under any circumstances. Gaetz claims he's got 4 other GOP lawmakers that also won't vote for McCarthy, which in a slim GOP majority could really thwart McCarthy's efforts to become Speaker. He hasn't said who those lawmakers are. And there are other far-right lawmakers like Marjorie Taylor Greene who said they do support McCarthy, and not backing McCarthy would be akin to, as Greene has put it, letting Democrats pick their Speaker of the House.
Now, Jay, the Senate is set to hold a key test vote on legislation to protect marriage equality at the federal level. What are you watching for there?
Yeah, it's a procedural vote. It happens later this afternoon around 3:15. The Democrats need 60 votes to pass this legislation. They need 10 Republicans to join them. It is expected they will get those votes. It is expected this legislation will be bipartisan. This is the bill that came out of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and fears that other rights given in Supreme Court decisions, like the right to same-sex marriage, would be overturned by future Supreme Court decisions. So this legislation goes through the House, it goes to the Senate. It is expected to pass that procedural vote today. It tees it up for potential eventual passage. Then the question becomes, when do lawmakers put it to a vote officially, and can they get it done before they all go home for Thanksgiving at the end of the week?
Rick, how crucial is timing here, given that the government is likely going to change come January? I mean, it is going to change. We still don't know who will control the House, but changes are coming. So what does that mean for the next few weeks?
There's a lot of work that has to get done in what's known as the lame duck session of Congress. The biggest ticket item may be to try to move something around the debt ceiling. People know this clash is coming, and if the Republicans take over control of the House, then they're going to be in a position to maybe extract some concessions for the basic task of paying the bills that the United States has already racked up. But that's going to be tough. It's going to be hard to happen in both the House and the Senate. They're going to have to get a lot of work done to make it work. And also, don't forget the January 6th committee. If Republicans control the House, the January 6th committee almost certainly goes away. I would expect that we'd hear more from that committee in the closing weeks of Congress and the closing weeks of their existence, knowing that there will be a clock on that committee's expiration as soon as we know that Republicans will take over the majority.
All right, Jay O'Brien, Rick Klein, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.